Well, hello. Hello, my silky friends. Oh my god, I do not know what is going on with StreamYard or, quite frankly, my life today, okay? I it's traumatic. All right. Let me pull CJ up here, okay? Because I need to tell somebody my trauma. And you know what? Let me say, oh, there are people in here. All right. All right. Hey, all of y'all. I, this is the day where if anything could go wrong, it did. Up to the point I went live and then it still started going wrong. All right. Let me get CJ up here so we can talk about me. Hey, CJ.
What's up?
Uh,
What happened?
I am,
What's going on?
I'm, oh my God. I know it seems like every time we go on live together, I have a trauma, but I really
Yeah,
have.
you're burning your foot. Cats are knocking shit out. What's up?
There's so much. There is so much. I could not my every time I would set up for StreamYard, it would just it would die. My internet went out about an hour ago, maybe a little less. And so then I had to call the company, get them to reset it, all this stuff. And so I had to reload everything for tonight's show, and now I'm counting the minutes. All right. So I realize
Oh.
it's 20 minutes before 4, and once again, true to form, I have forgotten that I was cooking. So I had
Oh.
to yeah, I know. So I had to like just mix everything together. I was making
Hmm.
my son wanted chicken fettuccine alfredo, so I had most
Yeah.
everything done, forgot about it, but I didn't burn it. Thank you God.
Right.
And so I threw
Do
it
you need
together
me
real
to send
fast.
you a message like before I join your show? Like, don't cook, so just have a snack. Just have a snack. Have some
Say
graham
y'all.
crackers.
Well, I'm not gonna eat till I don't know when, but
She
so
needs a
I get
graham
all that
cracker
together.
fund.
I I need I need a
No
brain
burning.
fund.
No burning.
Oh my god. Well, I didn't burn tonight, so I thought, okay, I got back in here, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the time. Some things I had to load again because once again it reset itself, and then
Right.
I've got 9 minutes. I'm like, okay, I fixed some coffee. I sat down. I thought, okay, I'm gonna be so chill. That was the plan. And then I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden it's almost time to go. Like we're within a couple of minutes, like 4 minutes, something like that. And and I look at my computer, and I have this big red, angry battery, like you're on 6% or something. And I'm like, oh my god, I
Oh.
forgot to plug it in. And
Hmm.
so because it gets hot sometimes, so I unplug it. And at the same time, I hear all this commotion in the kitchen, and I think, oh my God, the cat got on the stove. And I mean, I've got everything covered. So I jump up, I leave the computer. I think I've got a little bit of time. I'm going to run in here, save supper. And it was just my son, it wasn't a cat. So I come back in
Oh.
here, and
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
good.
okay, plug it up. And it was already dead. Dead,
Mm.
dead. I had to
Mm.
restart
Mm.
the computer, redo, and of
Yeah.
course, all my documents,
Mm.
everything from StreamYard, I had to reset.
Why does it always
And
happen to us, Silky? I don't. I
I
don't get it.
don't know. I don't know. And then I start going
Uh oh.
live, and I mean, did you say it just like it puked on itself?
Houston.
And it,
Houston. We have signal issues, Houston.
I'm telling you, oh my God. Yeah, I'm like, I
We
don't
have
even know.
signal issues. We are on the back side of the moon.
I might as well be here in Alabama. So now I am not chill like I was, or trying to be.
Boy.
And But it is what it is. But yeah, it just decided to lock up, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to start a new stream, because if I start a new stream, I have to load everything back in. And I was like, oh God, what to do? Because I'm already past time to be live. But finally, I just played a different video, and oh, now CJ's gone. Hello. Hello, CJ. Who am I going to tell my drama to? Okay. Y'all. All right, let me say hello to everyone. Oh, good, good, good. Jinxie is back up. She's got her. I'm sure you've got your little what do you call those? Wrench? Your wrench? I got that fixed. Dre, hello. Samantha Springman, hello, hello. Sorry for all of the drama, but it's me. That's the thing. It's me. Let me see. Did we find CJ now? Oh, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, it was sounding robotic. I was on the other side of the moon there, and we lost signal, but I think we're good. Once we get to the place I'm going, mobile hotspot. Should have done it. My bad.
Oh, no, that's fine. Look, you know what? It's just one of those. It's one of those crazy, crazy nights. While you were gone, I was just saying hello to everybody. Brandy Wine and True Crime. Hello, hello. Let me see if I've got highlighted everybody. Raggedy Susan, hello. So where are you at about? You're in South Carolina?
Yeah, I'm about I'm about, if you can hear me okay, I'm about 10 minutes away from where everything took place.
Oh, wow.
For Stephen Smith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get man, I keep losing. Am I okay now?
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, that's okay. I'm losing my, brains over here. I'm trying to highlight everybody who is in the chat real quick. Catastrophe. Okay.
It's real
Laura
choppy for me.
Thompson.
Let me see here.
It's okay, Laura. Linda K, good to see ya. And Unmasked Truth. I think you have a channel, don't you? Okay. Hello. Hello. Well, you made it in this way. Hi there. Yeah, I'm trying to fix that issue. I really am. All right. Let's see. Because now I'm so far behind because I was digital. I was explaining my trauma. And CJ was sweet enough to come on tonight. Okay, Michelle. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to catch up. I want to say hello to everybody that has, at least everybody who has put a comment up. Yeah. Oh no, CJ. I wasn't done with the trauma. I've got more trauma. Is that you or me? I don't even know. Y'all. I think it was him. I think he's out for a second. So, hello, hello. Everybody, let me put this up here. Laura says, oh my gosh, my computer's not doing what it's supposed to do. I don't even know. I tried to put your link up there, or your comment up there, Laura ST, but let's see. I don't know. No, it's behind. This is weird because I have highlighted highlighted Raggedy Susan a while back, and now it's just still there, even though I've changed it. Okay, there we go. StreamYard, get your crap together. I don't have my crap together, so I need for somebody somebody to have it together. Because it ain't me. All right. Uh, CJ will be back with us. And I want to tell you what's going on. CJ is... Oh, is he there? I heard... Unmasked. I think you have a channel. Did I say that? I think Unmasked Truth has a channel.
Sorry about that. Once I'm stationary, it should be better.
Well, you know, I don't know. Here's the thing.
I'm out.
I'm
out in the boonies. I'm serious. I'm out in the boonies.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, F Egypt. Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of areas around me like that. Okay, quite a few. But yeah, I've had enough today, to CJ, and I think I just, I'm gonna spike this here in a minute. Not really.
We're duo because the same shit's happening to me. It's all right. Gosh. It is what it is.
Yeah.
What's going on over there? It was kind of skipping for me, so I couldn't hear anything.
Well, I thought that it was my internet and that I had just lost it, but it seems to be working now. And then I saw you were like, you get the little circle in the drain. Circle that goes, and I was like, oh,
boy, there's a lot of tractors.
Welcome to South Carolina.
There's a lot of tractors around here. Holy crap! I just saw 3 tractors at one intersection. Whoa!
Hey, it's Friday night. Okay, they got stuff to do this weekend. All right, they got stuff, and they gotta get the tractors out. They gotta get them ready. Do some stuff tonight so they can, don't have a whole day tomorrow, and they can take a bath, get ready for church on Sunday morning. That's the way they do it in the South. A lot of tractors.
This is sorry, it's a little choppy again. I'm almost there. Just a few more minutes.
Yes, catastrophe. The buffering swirl of death.
What's up, Kay?
By the way, Kay, what was I gonna say now? I forgot.
I've been missing you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was like, CJ's gone, and I wasn't even done with my trauma.
Yes, go ahead. Right. Keep going.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to simmer down, cool down. Because let me tell you what happened last night. For those of you that were in my live stream last night, you know this. Well, CJ knows too, because he saved my rear end. Don't try to talk and drink. It doesn't work. Anyway, yeah, my document. But let me explain to y'all what happened, because I have asked everybody who is even slightly technical. And I got some emails today on, maybe theories. But I literally, CJ, sometimes with me, especially if I don't have my mouse, if I'm scrolling down a document, sometimes my hand might go just a little bit off and it pops back to my email when I'm screen sharing. And, but that's all. It just pops back to my email. It was so crazy because I'm not even sure that I got off course, but I'm scrolling down and it disappears. Like, it's not in trash. It's not archived. It's not, I had even sent a copy of it out, and it was not in sent. It was nowhere. I had started. It was not in start. There was no category that it was in. Like, it was wiped from my computer in the middle of me reading it. And what's wild is that, there's no trace, not even in trash. And so I thought, oh my God, that's why I had you send me. I would have been sunk last night, just babbling like an idiot if I didn't have that document that you sent me. And I know sometimes I babble like that anyway, but um, so then I had the second document, the response that everyone, they said, go on. This is later in the show. They said, go on. And I had it pulled up. It was on another tab. You know how StreamYard works. And so I looked at that tab prior to going live, and I knew it was the exact document I wanted. And it was the only other one there. I only had two up. So it wasn't the memorandum, it was the response. When I clicked on
Mm.
it, it wasn't the document that I had put up there. It wasn't the one I looked at just prior to the show. It was something completely different. That
Huh.
and as a matter of fact, that document did the same thing the memorandum did. It just went poof off my computer. So luckily, I'm in your Discord and went back to the documents and downloaded it to my phone and emailed it to myself once again. And I'm like, I do not understand how documents disappear in the middle of a live stream out of Google without any trace. It was
Huh.
bizarre. It was so bizarre.
You never
And
found it
no,
after that? No.
no, neither one of them are in my email in any way, shape, or form
Huh.
until you sent me that one, which I'm like, is somebody hacking me and just playing with me? I mean, I don't know. What? What
Hey,
the crap? Gremlins? I don't know.
yeah. Well, I do have Jizzy G. I don't feed him. I don't feed him chicken, so we're good. We're good.
Well, definitely don't cook for him before a live
No, I
stream,
don't.
okay?
I don't feed him at all. He, he gets his food source his own way. I don't know. I don't ask.
Okay, so we've discussed my trauma. I want you to talk a little bit before we get into this document, and also, I I have some things to add, okay,
Yeah.
to this whole mess. And we talked a lot about the memorandum, not the Odin stuff, but all the other stuff last night. And it raised a lot of questions for me. But before we start in Delphi, let's start with you, okay?
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing, what's on the agenda for tomorrow. I wish I didn't have to work tomorrow, man. I can watch some of it at work if,
Oh, you're fine.
if
No,
nobody's
you're good.
killing anybody,
No,
then we're okay.
no. It's just one of those things that it's a case that I covered a lot, and I'm out on the road now, and I felt it was only right, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
make a trip out here too. Just like Moscow, Idaho coming up, put so much time into these cases. I want to be able to take people to these places, where everything happened. Um, but it was kind of crazy because back in April, sometime I think it was, um, that's when Sandy Smith got was represented for free from Bland and Richter, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when they started taking over the case, it was because the case had been changed from hit and run to a homicide finally after all these years when none of it made sense that it was a hit and run ever anyway.
Right.
And so they went ahead and are representing the family, mother for free. And I've kind of been involved with like promoting the different fundraisers and things like that, and having guests on regarding um, the case and things like that. So uh, I wanted to be able to kind of bring you guys there, kind of like we did with Coburger at DeSale University. We took everybody to the class where he was under Ramsland, the parking lot he would have parked in to go to class. Just kind of explored those areas and stuff, and it just kind of gives a different perspective on everything that we talk about, because it's one thing if you're like talking about it and you're watching court TV or something, but when you can actually go there and experience the depth like Delphi, the bridge is a hell of a lot shorter than I thought it was. And that was a major surprise. Is just report because the community supports me and allows me to do this. I want to be able to take it to those places.
You're breaking up a little bit. I don't see the circle of death though, so that's good. No circle in the drain. But I think you're kind of frozen. Um, hey there, Ruckus. Kelly Miller, how are you? Are you back with us? Um, while he's getting where there's service. Hey, look, I know. I live rural. And even though I am not as rural, we have no internet service worth a crap, really. Not when it comes to things like this. So I get it. He'll be back with us in a minute. But for those of you who are not familiar, or you don't remember, because I did do, if you go back a few months, I put on there, I did cover the Stephen Smith case. CJ and I both, we did a live together about it, and I put an excerpt from that on, but I did the whole case and just, to let everybody know. But basically, if you don't know, Stephen Smith was a young gentleman, very young. I mean, young, early 20s, I believe. Lord, I can't remember. Anyway, they said it was a hit and run accident, but it made no sense, okay? And if you followed the Alec Murdaugh trial, you may know a little bit about Stephen Smith, but Alec's son Buster was a friend of Stephen's. Stephen happened to be, what is politically correct? I don't even know what's politically correct. He was of the LGBTQ, all that. I forget the rest of it. He was part of that community, okay? And, they said it was a hit and run, but his injuries did not match up to that. His circumstances did not match up. But, Alex Murdaugh was out there almost immediately, went to the hospital, trying to convince the family that his firm needed to represent Stephen. And so that was very sus. A lot of people said that Buster was involved. He could have been. But there are other very compelling things about that case. So if you didn't, and now they have finally, after all this time, his mom was able to get his body exhumed and have another autopsy because, yeah, the coroner one was telling another, look, what you want me to write on here? I'll put cause of death, like I'll put anything. You just tell me. What kind of jacked up crap is that? So, it sounds like Delphi, don't it? Cheers. But yeah. So, that was the problem. And that was a lot of suspicion. So they did do another autopsy. They were able to gain evidence, but I don't know. I haven't heard that anything is released, but we hope that it's going to be reopened soon. And that is what CJ is doing in South Carolina. So, yeah, he's going to be, y'all don't miss it. He's going to be taking you to all the places and looking at the stuff, the things, the people, the atmosphere, because you can tell a lot. Now, I've never been to Delphi. Let me tell you, if I ever go to Delphi, I will be undercover. You will not recognize me. I promise you. Uh, but you can tell a lot about a place by the vibes, should I say, in the air, uh, that kind of thing. You know, you can kind of get a feel. If you're a feely person, I'm a feely person. Um, so anyway, that's what he's doing. Check him out tomorrow. He's going to be live all over the place. Um, that's Evil CJ, short for everywhere. Let me say this right. Everywhereville CJ. All right? Eville, Everywhereville. He is on the road. He's taking his show on the road. All right, y'all ready for the docs? I know we've wasted a lot of time, but guess what? I am not on a time limit really so much tonight. Oh, I heard a little blip. Look at there. Maybe we might have CJ back. Or not. I don't know. We've got a spot. We have got a chair for you, CJ. If you if you're able to sit in it, I don't know. Bless your heart. Yeah, welcome to the country. And while we're talking about that, I know I read back in the live chat from last night. I read about, I was asking, okay, because to me this question is very important. Oh wait, there he is. There he is. Can you hear us, CJ? No. The spiral. Anyway, I was asking y'all, Delphi people. Now I know this would go back to 2017, and I think Jinx said the cell service is spotty out at Monon High Bridge, but and that is today. What I want to know is was it as bad? Was it non-existent? I have read a lot of people's comments and heard people say that there was no service back in 2017 on the High Bridge. Do y'all know? No, Keith Gill. Oof. That's been my day. I'm just telling you, that's been my day. Ruckus says I'm smart. Okay, so no, Rachel, he is not. He's in South Carolina. He actually went. Was it last weekend, y'all? Or CJ? Maybe it was the weekend before. He went to Delphi. Yeah, he was out there recently. But no, he's in South Carolina right now. Currently in real time, yes. That's why we're having so many issues with CJ on live, because he's driving around in Podunk, South Carolina. Now, let me just tell you that I do not mean that as a slur or, diss of any kind. I'm from Alabama. I used to live in North Carolina. I love Podunk towns and country, okay? I love it. But part of the problem is you don't have the fancy technology, okay? Just don't. Let's see. Okay, so Jinx says AT&T drops her calls all the time, and Charles Godwin says I've heard it depends more on your cell provider. Does anybody know what it was like? Because again, this is a big thing, and we talked about this last night. If in 2017 there was no cell service out there, then Richard Allen saying he was looking at the stock ticker is a bunch of BS. But also with that, if there was no cell service out on the bridge, then Libby could not have uploaded the Snapchat either, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you gotta have service, okay? All right. Jinx, I grew up in Western Podunk, Kentucky. You know what? Here in the South, this used to be a podunk town, but it has grown up in the last 20 years like crazy. All right, I am going to wait for CJ to come back. But I'm going to go ahead and let's look at these documents, okay? Let me see. And I hope I do not have a, which one is it? That ain't it. What in the heck is that? That's not even anything. Might be this one. Let me share this one and see if this is the one that works, okay? Yeah, wow. It's here. And it didn't disappear yet. All right. Y'all techies too, please tell me if you have an explanation of the situation that I described that happened last night with Google was throwing up on itself. And even when I tried to search the email, because I knew CJ had sent that to me before, and I put his name in to just search his emails to me, it said Evil CJ, but it came up with you, Ruckus. It just showed me emails for you. I'm like, what? Anyway. All right. So, we discussed at length all the stuff about the defense. Remember, if you weren't here last night, remember what I've said. We are balanced. Okay? We're balanced. And we know that the defense's job is to throw everything out there possible to, prove that Richard Allen is innocent. By the same token, the prosecution is going to come back and they're going to say everything that makes him look guilty. If you've ever sat through a real trial and you have listened to, the prosecution goes first, if you're sitting there and you don't know anything about the case, if the attorneys are good, you will listen to the prosecution, and once they, kind of rest their case, or they present everything, you will believe 100% that this person is guilty as sin, okay? You'll be like, why are we even having a trial? Well, wasn't there a plea bargain? Because the, prosecution has this great case. And then, in comes the defense. If they are equally as good or better, by the end of their presentation, all their witnesses, all their evidence, you will swear that, this person is 100% innocent. That is the good job that they are supposed to do, because I'm going to tell you, you can like one side or not, but if you were on trial, guilty or not, you would want a good attorney, okay? So you have to filter everything through that. Now, that being said, I have a lot of questions. Lots. But I'm going to start, let me see. I don't see CJ yet. All right. I just had to look at it a different way. All right. So this was filed, and we knew the prosecution was going to file something because, goodness, you have to answer that 136 pages of stuff. So I'm not going to read this line by line, even though it's only 8 pages, okay? So yeah, they're coming. Let's see. Is this the right document? Yes. This is on May 19th. The defendant filed a motion to suppress the evidence seized in the search warrant. Okay, we'll just make it simple. That on September 13th, 2023, the defendant filed an amended motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of the search warrant executed at the home of the defendant. Now, remember, we talked about the Frank's motion, okay, and what that means, what it entails. Most of you, probably all of you, know what a Frank's motion is. If there was something wrong in the PCA or the search warrant or whatever that that was untrue, okay, or lacking information, nefarious, okay? Sketchy. We'll just use that word. If there was something that was really sketchy in that doesn't line up, and, a judge signed it and they got the warrant, they go to, the suspect's home and they get evidence. If the court finds that that original document that let them search was incorrect or misleading, then none of the evidence in that they found in the house, even if it proves 100% guilty, they cannot use it in court. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. The whole question is, the defense is saying one thing, the prosecution is saying another. What is true, and is the according and look, they conflict so badly. Which one is true? Is the prosecution going on? Did they actually just, I'm not going to say make up, because they didn't make it up. They twisted. Okay? They twisted. According to the defense, they twisted what the evidence initially showed in order to get the warrant. Now, if that is true, and if the defense is, the judge is going to be able to look at the evidence honestly, and so would we. If we could see those affidavits, we'd know too. But if the Judge Gull says, you know what, you're right, and the prosecution did twist that, then all of the evidence against Richard Allen will have to be thrown out. Okay? But let's see what Nick McClellan has to say, because, surely. And here's the thing. Somebody is lying. Flat out lying. Because either the defense is correct in what their affidavits say. You remember, they get all their information from the prosecution, who get it from the investigators. Arrest somebody, the defense gets privy to that information because they have to defend him in court. They're saying, we got this information from the prosecution and it's wrong. They are misleading you. The prosecution is saying no. All right. That means one thing. Somebody's lying. Which one? Which one is it? All right. So, the defense alleges that the search warrant is unconstitutional because the issuance of the search warrant was a result of improper ex parte application, in that the affiant... Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I hear a little boop. Are you back with us? Oh, no. He's trying. CJ's trying to get back on here. Well. Alright, let's keep going. In that the affiant, Sheriff Tony Liggett, failed to advise the judge of material faces? Was that supposed to be something else? Or am I just reading that wrong? And made false and misleading representations with reckless disregard for the truth. That's a little bit dramatic, though, too, Nick. Y'all are blasting the defense. But that little sentence, I mean, this is pretty cut and dried. I'll give you that. The defense, whew, that was a fun read. But you got a little bit in here. A little bit of interest. Reckless disregard for the truth, and that without these false and misleading representations and omissions, the search warrant would not have been issued. And then, they're talking about the Franks versus Delaware case, and it says the defense's attack must be based on deliberate falsehood or acts of reckless regard. Now, here's the thing. What does the affidavit say? What does Betsy Blair? Okay, so taking the Odinism, that whole thing, we're not even talking about that. We are talking about basic principles here. We're talking about Betsy Blair's testimony and Sarah Carbaugh's testimony. Because those two things, if it is true what the defense alleges, if that's true, Richard Allen wasn't there during the time, the alleged time that they said he was there. And, you know, the state says he was there from 1:30 to 4. He says I was here from 12:30, from 12 to 1:30, I believe, somewhere around there. All right, so let's go down here. Yeah, the defense filed a memorandum. I do like this. Number 7. That, once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional, it is not completely true. All right. Completely. So, is it partially true? Because I'm going to ask. It's not completely true. If it's not completely true, then it's not completely false either, is it? The state believes that the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by the evidence. Okay, well, let's see what you got. Sheriff Tony Liggett did not intentionally or recklessly omit evidence or lie about the evidence in the probable cause affidavit to support the search warrant. Okay, because remember, and I'm recapping for those of you who weren't there in my life, not like in Delphi. Hope you weren't there. But we talked about last night, Betsy Blair said that she's so sorry. Nats. It's Alabama. She said that there were, that the guy that she saw from 50 feet away, all right, versus Sarah Carbaugh, who saw somebody walking down the road, still doesn't line up with what she said, but Betsy Blair saw him from 50 feet away, and he was young, like 20s, early 30s, poofy brown hair. That's not Richard Allen. All right. She says she left at 2:15, and when she left, his car was not in the CPS parking lot, that there was something that looked like a 1965 Ford Comet that was not black. And come on, you are not going to confuse a Ford Fusion with a 65 Ford Comet, okay? What kind of, nonsense is that? Now, remember, we also talked about Betsy Blair said she actually was the one who gave the description for a sketch that we call number 2, but it was actually the first one done 4 days after, she made her statement, 4 days after the incident. And then Sarah Carbaugh was 126 days later. But the thing of it is, they use Sarah Carbaugh's bridge guy description. And that's for the sketch. That first sketch is so very detailed, it's got the shading, The number 2, the young bridge guy, is not so much. But here's the thing. Why did they do Sarah's when she could not have possibly gotten as good a look at bridge guy going down the road? Okay, you don't know a crime is happening. You're going down the road. How many times do you see somebody on the side of the road? It happens here a lot in Alabama. I don't know what they're walking for. But, they're walking on the side of the road, side of the highway, whatever. And you see somebody. I might remember 1 or 2 vague things. Now, if I knew a crime had been committed, which they did not, then I'd be, driving like this, looking. Is it him? That could be him. That could be him. But she wasn't doing that, because that would be insane. Not that I don't question a lot of people's sanity in that area, but come on. She's driving down the road. Yeah, I remember I see somebody. Actually, she said his jacket was not blue. According to the defense. All right. They say that's what's in these affidavits. So you can see where, if what the defense says is in the affidavits is true, this is a big point of contention. We don't care about the odiness. We don't care about nothing else, right? Are these true? Because if they are, there's a problem. If they're not, it's a problem. What are you doing, defense? I mean, what you smoking? I don't know. Let's see. All right, let's go down. So old Tony, he didn't intentionally or recklessly omit evidence, according to them. The defense also alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under the Indiana and federal constitution in that it lacked probable cause. Okay, because the biggest pieces of the probable cause, remember, is that Richard Allen said he was on the bridge that day. He was wearing, blue jacket, blue jeans. And they said that bullet came from his gun that was just ejected. But let me ask you a question. All right, this has bothered me. Let me look at this a different way before I go back to that. And I also want to see if y'all are still, what y'all are saying. y'all just having you a good time up in there, aren't you? All right, let me ask you this. Think about the ejected bullet. If, as they say, Richard Allen was on the bridge, he's the guy on the bridge. He tells them, and they say gun, all right? So we assume this is the time that he pulls out his weapon and, maybe cocks it back. So they hear that and they realize, oh crap, and then they weren't unalive that way. So, he has to, put it back. He doesn't want to leave the gun cocked out there like that, probably. All right. But if this is where the gun is introduced, why wasn't a bullet there? Like either on the ground as he was telling them down the hill, once they got down the hill and he, maybe released his gun back to, why was the bullet that was ejected, if they were unalived with a knife, why was the bullet in between the girls in the crime scene? I mean, did he do it again? Because why would you do that again? Why would you, pull your gun out and do that again if they were unalived at the scene and there were, we know, sharp instrument, knife, whatever? It just makes me wonder, why did you pull the gun out again, whoever you are, whether you're Richard Allen or somebody else? Does that make sense to anybody? Because I'm thinking, yeah, I know there were big holes like in the high bridge, so yeah, if he did do that there, it could have been ejected into the water. But depending on where they were, it equally could have been ejected onto the ground underneath the bridge or down the hill. What do y'all think? It's just something I was wondering about. I'm sorry, CJ. Well, hey, we're gonna be here a while. CJ, no bars. Welcome to South Carolina. If you do get some bars, please come back. Yeah. Y'all all go. Please go support CJ. Poor guy stuck in the South. Bless him. But what do you think? What do you think? All right. I'm trying to. All right, let me go back to where I can't see y'all again. And remember what we said last night. The defense has an agenda. The prosecution has an agenda. What else did I tell you? Everyone else has an agenda. All right? Everybody does. Every creator, every person who, is doing the Delphi groups, whatever, anybody who's immersed in Delphi has an agenda. So understand that you need to filter your information, and understanding also that they are looking at things through a certain lens. All right? You've got to change lenses if you want to keep an open mind. You look through one lens, it's a crapshoot. You may be right, you may not. See what I'm saying? The defense has an agenda. Prosecution has an agenda. All right. So, okay, they are alleging, of course, that it was unreasonable. Then, let's go down to number 11. Well, let's go back to the end of this one. And the affidavit failed to connect generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. If they're talking about the bullet, yeah, I mean, how many people have said that's junk science? Even if there's some truth to an ejected bullet, then it's gonna be, there's too many experts who will say it's up to interpretation. All right. I never have thought that was going to fly. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. That in September 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017 by Conservation Officer Dan Doolin. Well, we know all about that. He admitted to being there. Okay, according to Dan Doolin, okay, here's where we have a big disconnect, all right? According to Dan Doolin, he said he was there between 1:30 and 3:30. Of course, and then it's like 3:57 when Sarah Carbaugh sees him walking up the highway. If that is true, then that places him there. However, what we don't have, all right, what we don't have is anything but Dan Doolin saying, Richard Allen told me this. Now, I don't want to say he's making it up, okay? I don't want to say that. But what I will say is we didn't see that document until 2022, okay? When it just, appeared. Ta-da! Sorry. I should be on the defense counsel. I am very overdramatic. But it was, to me, it was ridiculous. Yeah, y'all lost it. And here's the thing. If they had just said from the very beginning, you know what? We screwed up. Couldn't find it. Whatever. No. What Carroll County said is, it was misfiled by the FBI. Because the FBI apparently don't know what they're doing. Well, everybody is like, okay, people make mistakes, whatever. You're human. The FBI comes back later and they're like, that wasn't on us, buddy. That was all you. So even the FBI was ticked off about that, as I would be as well. So now we have 6 years after the fact, a report from Dan Doolin saying this is what he said. Now remember, the defense said, I haven't seen the interview tape, neither have you. Hopefully, we'll see it in court. But in what the defense is saying, when Richard Allen gave his, it was kind of a testimony, but he didn't know it, okay? They were watching an interview, in which the defense says Richard Allen, he thought he had been called in to help with the investigation because he knew he had been out there at some point in the day, and he thought he was trying to help with the case. And, he was just, again, we know he was very open about, I have guns. No, nobody used them. I don't know. Yeah, I was there. I was wearing exactly what the perp was wearing. Now, in that interview, remember, he didn't know that he was a suspect when that interview started. So when they asked him the, cursory questions, hey, Ricky, what time were you at the bridge? We know that you were there, but what time was that? He says in the interview between 12:30 and 1:30. Now he knows, true. He does know that supposedly the girls were unalived right after that. So could he have been making that up? Yeah, he sure could. Um, but he didn't know he was a suspect. Is he telling the truth? Is Dan Doolin telling the truth? I mean, who freaking knows? It's Carroll County. Who knows? Uh, but now the phone. This is a thing. Remember I told you this last night. If the phone was working and he was watching the stock ticker, it would have they would be able to pinpoint his whereabouts, okay? So that would prove whether he's lying or not if the phone had service. If it didn't, I don't know. That on October 13th, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife Kathy to speak to them and follow up on the interview done on 2017. So yeah, understand that when Rick went in there, Kathy was with him. They're like, come in, why don't y'all both come in? Let's just talk about it. We just realized you were there. Maybe you've got some information to help us. I can imagine that is probably the truth. Is what he thought. Now he may have thought, I better choose my words carefully. That is a possibility. Remember, everybody has an agenda. Okay, so this is when he reaffirmed that he was on the bridge. No, nothing to see here, boys. We know this. He told them what he was wearing. We covered that. He did own guns. Everything that he said was, he didn't have any problem just saying, yeah. Did you lend anybody your gun? Mm-mm. Like I told you last night, if I was guilty, even in an interview, even if I didn't think they were looking at me, if I knew I was guilty and they were, acting like they just wanted assistance in the investigation, I'd make up such a big story. Man, I would have had 6 years, at least 5 years, to perfect it. Okay? If you're guilty, you always have that in the back of your mind, okay? Unless you're just an idiot. You always know, okay, they haven't caught on to me yet. If they do, if somebody starts suspecting me, what am I going to say? You have a story if you're a criminal, don't you? I would. You would. You know you did that. You were involved. You'd already have something made up. Like, I listen to all, in the jail all day, I listen to all kind of crap. But they all have a story. That's the thing with criminals. They all have a story. Some of it is ridiculous and doesn't make a dang bit of sense. You're like, yeah, whatever. But you have something to cover. This is what makes me wonder, okay? When we're trying to decide who's telling the truth here, defense or prosecution, Richard Allen didn't have a story to cover why a bullet was there, he's got a gun, or why he was there, or he was wearing, it's like nothing. And they're like, hey, Ricky, how'd your bullet get there? Jeez, I don't know. All right? Do you see where I'm going with this? Doesn't mean that Richard Allen is innocent. No. It also doesn't mean he's guilty, because we do not know. We haven't seen it in writing or a testimony from Betsy Blair or Sarah Carbaugh or any of these other people to what was actually seen, said. Is this true? Who is telling the fibs here? Let's try to figure it out. All right, let's keep going. Y'all can't see this. You can't see this, can you? Oh my God. I'm reading from this and y'all can't even see it. All right, man. And see, I can't see y'all saying, hey, you don't have the document up there. All right, let me look. All right, let me make sure. Because y'all don't even know. Sorry about that. I'd say I'm having a blonde moment, but, I'm not blonde, so just having I don't know, a senior moment. All right. So we're down to number 23, somewhere around there. Oh, let's go. Oh, look at, I did that again. That's what I did again. All right. See, this is what happened last night, except it completely, see, I knew I did this. Last night, it completely disappeared out of Google. All right. All right. 22, the clothes, check. He agrees to that. He possessed firearms, knives, and clothing, check. Absolutely. Based on this information, investigators prepped a probable cause affidavit with a search warrant for the home of Richard Allen. All right, now remember, they've already got the affidavits from years ago of Betsy Blair and all the others. All right, they've already got that on file. They already know what Betsy said she saw and what Sarah said she saw. And there are more. Again, witness testimonies, historically inaccurate, but this is what they had to go on. So, oh my gosh, I want to see those so bad. I want to see it so bad. Okay. The probable cause affidavit, covers all that information. It outlines the evidence that established the probable cause. Okay, we got that. Investigators applied for the search warrant on October 13th, and the same was granted that day by Carroll County Court Judge Benjamin Diener. Now, remember, it is also on the 13th that Richard and Kathy are invited. Wasn't that nice? I like the way they worded that. They were invited in for an interview. Yeah. Maybe all invitations shouldn't be accepted. Just saying. But anyway, they were invited in. They talk about it. I'm sure by the end of that interview, okay, when they're looking at him saying, Rick, how'd your bullet get there? Can you tell us? Got some splaining to do, Richard? I'm sure by the end of that interview, he was thinking, oh crap. Do they really think I did it? Again, just knowing Criminal Minds, working with Criminal Minds, you would have already had a cover story. But he did not. All right, so the same day, look, I'm not sure. I would like to know what the timeline is. At what time did Richard and Kathy go in? When was the interview over? What time did they, because I guess while they're in there reviewing what Rick Allen is saying and Kathy is saying, they're like, they're giving the side eye. Hey, you need to go get the judge to sign off on this. Just take this, they needed to do it. And the reason is they said they were afraid, that he would destroy evidence. We'll get there. But it is the same day. I don't know how much longer. Did they follow him home from the interview? I don't think they followed him home, but was it like within just a few minutes? Was it a couple of hours? Because you interview me and all of a sudden I realize, you ain't gonna find a bullet nowhere. You ain't gonna find any matching bullets nowhere. You're not gonna find anything that I can get out of that house. And, stuff anywhere. Do anything with, your floorboards that you can pull up and shove stuff down in there. I don't know. But it says that the investigators went to the residence of the defendant located at blah, blah, blah. We know where he lives. Knocked on the door and executed the search warrant. So they had undoubtedly come home and they're probably sitting there with their mind spinning, saying, holy crap. Then they get a knock at the door and they're like, hey, it's me again. We want to search your house. And I understand completely them saying that they had to do this immediately. They needed like an emergency signature of the judge because, of course, all of a sudden, yes, you know you're under suspicion. Yes, if you are guilty, even if you're not guilty, he didn't get rid of anything that we know of. But I mean, at that point, I would be, even if I was innocent, I would be wondering, should I hide anything else? I don't know what else they're gonna say. So yes, and a criminal is going to get rid of the stuff immediately. If you give them a day, I'm gonna tell you, just a few hours, whatever, that stuff's gonna be gone. I said it, but you can't prove it. What you gonna do? All right, so they made Rick and Kathy get out of the house while they searched, and of course, we know they took a .40 caliber firearm, electronic. Look at that! What the crap? Here we go again. Electronic devices, all that stuff. Is this the right one? Yeah. We know what they took out of there. That's not the issue. What they took and what they found and all that kind of stuff, that is all part of the evidence. We're not talking about what the evidence says, all right? We're not looking at whether the bullet is, from the 6-hour P226. Did that, was that Richard Allen's? Did it come from that gun? We're not even considering the evidence. We're only looking at the means to obtain the evidence, all right? So we don't care what they found. Did they do it the right way? And they are saying that according to Indiana code, the minimum information necessary is, yes. All right, all this is cut and dry. You can see all this. I'm not going to read it out. But they have good cause to believe, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we all understand that. Of course, we're talking about needing a warrant. We need it fast. Yes, I agree. If I were working on the prosecution side, I would say yes, we need this really quickly. And they go into these different cases, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm not going to read it all out because we're basically just looking at, we don't need all the backstory. And there's a huge difference, y'all know, between the way this prosecution, the way the response is written versus the defense. Yes, the defense is 136 pages of quite a read. I mean, I'm going to say this. Even if they are 100% wrong, it was very entertaining, okay? The way they wrote it. Now, does it need to be entertaining in a court of law? Probably not. I don't think so. I think it probably takes away. I wish they had been more like this, the way that the prosecution wrote this up, except for a few little sentences here and there. They're pretty cut and dried. Let's go down to, okay, we see that again on 43, they thought he would destroy the evidence. I would be too. There is one sentence in here that I was reading, and this is, all right, and it talks about, basically it says, it's somewhere in here, y'all know, it basically says the same thing that 39 does in the same wording. The state believes that the affidavit establishes blah blah blah. This is what they're talking about. This is talking about item C's, but we're talking about the statements. The reason this is the whole, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth through here. If I'd had this last night, I would have known what I was doing. But anyway, it basically is saying, I guess the way it's worded is it's saying the state believes this. State believes this to be true. Well, the defense is not saying, we just believe this. They're saying the affidavit says. Betsy Blair says. Now, they have to, do they not, have to have a copy of that affidavit? Don't they have to be looking at it? Can they make this all up? Because I'm just saying, if they have done this so early in the game, I don't, it's going to be bad in court. If y'all just making stuff up, you know what's going to happen in court. The judge is going to look at you basically and say, we already know y'all full of crap. We saw your motion. So the question is, do they have enough information in those affidavits? So the prosecution does, basically they're just saying, we did what we believed. We believe, and you see that all through this document, we believe that Richard Allen this. We believe that. State believes that. I guess my question is, why do you believe that? Is that what your witnesses have told you? Is that what the evidence has told you? Or, you saying that because you gotta say something now. What you gonna do? Can't let the defense just out here, be telling this wild stuff and you not answer. It's okay, let me go back to your, oh my God. Digital, the state probably still believes in Santa and the Easter Bunny. I don't know what's going on, Keith Kellogg. I don't understand. I have to read the comments. I don't know what's going on with you. All right. So, okay, Danger Dave, let's see what you got to say. In my opinion, the prosecution, don't have anything else. If they did, the defense would have, I need my glasses, would have addressed it. All right. That could go two ways. Definitely, in the PCA, remember, you only have to give as much information to the judge to get him to sign off on a warrant. Okay, when you do a probable cause, you are not, for an arrest, you are not putting all the evidence out there. You don't want to, because you don't want everybody to know what your case is, all right? You're trying to keep some things a secret while, you're preparing your case. So, would they have put all their information in? No, absolutely not. I hope. Okay? I'm just going to say, and it's not because I have any, hope that somebody's guilty or innocent. I hope they've got more evidence in this, because if not, in my opinion, Richard Allen is not only innocent, but if this is all you got, he's going to walk, and I'm going to say Indiana's going to owe him a bunch of money for the stuff that they have put him through, if there is no other evidence, all right? Talked about the bullet. It's going to be debated back and forth. I don't think that's going to hold much of anything. But that's my opinion. So, did they put all the information out there? No. Most likely they did not. Most likely they have more information. So, that being said, let me look at your comment again, because I've already forgotten. If they did, the defense would have addressed it. Like, if they had more information, the defense would have addressed it. Maybe, probably not till trial. I'm just going to say, I think they addressed what they felt that they needed to do to get the Franks motion and toss out all that evidence. I don't think they are going to debate all of the points of it if he is guilty and if they have evidence that is like irrefutable or almost like that's really damaging, then they're probably not going to attack that in any kind of motion. They're going to wait. They're going to work on that till trial, okay? Such as the reports that Richard Allen confessed to his wife. I've said this before. I don't, jailhouse confections. They make cakes. Yeah, they really do. Make some good ones too. Jailhouse confessions are notoriously erroneous. They're not really, most of the time, they are hotly debated. It is hard in a lot of cases, especially when you have people. Let's take the odiness out of it, okay? Let's just say you've got some jailers who don't like you. Maybe they're related. Maybe they're just sympathetic to Abby and Libby. They believe you did it. They're taking everybody's words. You're guilty, and they are going to treat you badly. Are they going to threaten you? Does it happen? Yes, it does. It doesn't mean it did happen. It also doesn't mean it didn't happen. So what the defense is doing is they are building up this, they're trying to build up the case that Richard Allen confessed out of coercion, out of fear for his family. That way, the prosecution can say, he confessed, cut and dried, the man is guilty. Defense can say, no, he confessed because he was terrified somebody was going to unalive his wife, or he was afraid for his own life as well. You see what I'm saying? They're going to play that back and forth. Let me go up here. All right. There's a lot of stuff, lots and lots of stuff, but pull this down. Let's talk. Let me see what time it is. All right, we've got a few minutes. Let's talk about another document. Hold on. Because I'm just going to let you go. And again, this is my brain. All right, this is my brain thinking and where I went with it. So let's look at, that's not it. I think this is, I don't know. Okay, yeah. This is where I was reading all these documents, and this is where they are basically asking for records, all right? They're asking for medical records and stuff. They want to see. This is the prosecution. They're asking for stuff. They want to see, what the doctors have said about Richard Allen, which they're going to have to be prepared either way. If the records say he was fine and then all of a sudden he went downhill and, he said he was being threatened and, or they're, it's going to say nothing much. He was fine. I don't know what all this, is about. But as I was reading this, and the only reason I wanted to show this is part of the PCA, okay? So we've all read this 100 times. I don't know if you can see my mouse on here or not. But it made me start thinking. It made me want to ask some questions, okay? I don't know why I didn't ask these questions before, but... Okay, the video recovered from victim 2, that is Libby. Victim 1 is Abby. Victim 2 is Libby. From victim 2's phone shows victim 1 walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. Okay, a video recovered from Libby's phone shows a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans. Okay, she's walking southeast. He's coming behind her in the video. All right, got that. We haven't seen something that looks like that. One of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. Well, that is not exactly true. He doesn't say, guys, down the hill. It's guys, blah, 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 noise, down the hill. It's not like it's all one sentence. It has been suggested, even by, I've heard some people, even with, in different interviews with law enforcement, whatever, they're not 100% sure that guys in down the hill is the same person they think it is. Sounds pretty close. Not exactly sure. Because why? Because you've got other voices on that recording. All right. We know there's other voices. We've heard parts of it. It's very muffled, very hard to hear. So that's not, Guys Down the Hill. That, Guys Down the Hill is the video that they gave us to listen to and look at, right? So this is the holy grail. This is the standard that we look at Bridge Guy. We see him walking, guys down the hill. Obviously, he wasn't saying that then. All right. So there, you're like, meh, sorta, kinda, not really, exactly, but meh. So it says a still photograph taken from the video and the Guys Down the Hill audio was subsequently released to the public. Yes, they just took a photograph. One still photograph. Although later on, I was listening to one of the, I don't know if it was a press conference interview. It was law enforcement that said that there were three photos taken, still photos. Now, my question is this. Let me stop this. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? StreamYard? I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. All right. There we go. If they wanted to see video, they wanted to show us actual video of Bridge Guy. They say they've got it on Libby's phone walking up behind Abby, right? Why didn't they release that video? I understand that depending on the angle and the distance and all of that Abby would have potentially been in some, or Libby, one, you can see that you may see one of the girls in that video, and that is very traumatic for friends and family to have to look at, okay? But if they have Abby here, okay, Bridge Guy coming up, maybe it's a big different distance, okay? Let me get my hand in there. Maybe it's a big distance, way up here, and then you have Bridge Guy back here, All right, why didn't they use that video, even show it in full screen and just blur Abby out? You can do all kind of stuff. You can just blur, just make it a big blob, whatever, so that the family doesn't have to actually see it. But if you are, like Doug Carter said in the press conference, when they released this video, all right, and I say video because it's very weird to me. When they released this video, Doug is saying, look at his mannerisms. Look at the way he walks. So all of us are looking at him thinking he's got a funky gait. He limps. He's got this. He's got that. If you wanted us to recognize him by his mannerisms and his walk, then why didn't you put the whole thing, even if it was at a great distance, even if he was far off, you could see it, and then you could draw it in and do that same video without being broken. But this video is so broken. It is so broken that, and I'll show you what I mean. So when I heard that, they took a still photograph and it says Abby was in the picture. Bridge guy's coming behind her. You're not giving me an accurate description of Bridge guy, his mannerisms, his walk, if you are not doing a continuous shot. Because I don't know. If it's a broken shot, it's not reliable. So why did you do that? Why isn't there a long shot? All right? You follow me? Let me catch you, because this is where, and I'm going to share this video. Just a second. Let's look at that. Come on. Let's look at that. Oh wait, that's not what I want. I'm special. All right, no, this is not it either. My goodness, come on, StreamYard. Yeah, this is it. This is it. And I'm gonna stop it, and I may replay it. Okay.
Keep in mind that they're.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Keep in mind that there the likeliness, the possibility of more than one person. We're not saying that the voice that you heard is the same as this person here. This is all very complicated, very involved.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this for just a second. And I saw this, wow, I saw this so much clearer at the beginning of this video, but I slowed it down. I just took, a random screen recording of, I Googled it, the video bridge guy. But what I want you to look at, all right, is look at his head, all right? You can, and you'll see a black flash come in there. Look at his head, the weird way that it moves, and the black thing, because, and we're going to go back and look at something else, because it's easier for me to see on my phone when it's smaller. I'm looking at it on my TV over here. I don't know how well it's going to be seen, because the pixels are all spread out, but this is in slow motion, okay? Okay, watch, okay, did you see that? Okay, you see that there's a cut. There's a cut. Alright, see how it gets blurry, and then it looks kind of weird, alright? I don't know, I'm gonna stop it and make it full screen, so I can see it. Alright, in front of Bridge Guy's face, let me see how you're seeing it on the TV. It's a little bit delayed. Do you see this white object right here? Can you see my mouse? I don't know. Okay, you see the black coming across there, and then what is this? You see, it looks like it's straight up and down. You see it's got like a little different color on the top, and then it's white, and then it goes down to, it looks circular on the bottom. Okay, see what I'm saying? What is that? Does anybody know? What is that is cutting in? At first, when I first looked at this, I thought, is that like Abby's shoulder? But I don't think it is, because first of all, it's not what she was wearing, all right? The stuff on the top, if that is part of her shoulder, it looks like her hair was down, which is not in the picture. But I'm like, it's hard to tell maybe. But then the circle at the bottom, it looks like an object. Okay? You see what I'm saying? I wish I could move my mouse around. We could see. It just looks bizarre to me. Like, what is that? All right. You back it up just a second. You see the flash. Come on. There's another, yeah, there's the object. And then, okay, stop right here. Well, I'm going to run this back to the beginning of it, where it says guys down the hill. Look at his face. All right, because it's going to change. First of all, when we watch it back, you're going to see that his head goes to the left, like real quick. You can tell where it's cut because it's like he looks over to the left for a second, but then all of a sudden it's back. And it's like a, you know, a neck jerk, like, whoo, you know. And I'm looking at this. Okay, I don't see it blown up as much as I see it when it's smaller. So if you don't see this, go back and watch this part of the video on your phone, okay? Or a smaller device. Doesn't have to be a phone. But from where I am looking, and this is very apparent, we're going to look at it again, because you see I'm not making this crap up. Remember, some people said he had something over his face. I want you to look at this line that goes from his nose all the way over to the side of his face. Dang, I wish you could see it better. I don't know what you're watching it on. On my TV, it is hard to see. But this line is not a shadow, okay? It's not a shadow. It's not coming from the hat. And I'll tell you why. You'll see it. Because in these cuts, when we go back to the beginning, you'll see for a flash, it's like brown. It looks like it's tan, but almost see-through. You know what I'm saying? Almost see-through. It's darker right where his nose is, out that straight line you can barely see. And then all of a sudden, when you look at it not spread out everywhere, like I'm seeing it on my computer, the area underneath this hat, where his eyes, underneath his eyes is one color. All right, that's skin. Go over the brown section, and then this bottom section is still not the color of the skin up above that, okay? So the sun is coming from the same angle. There's only a couple of inches there. It should be the same color. Now, I'm going to run it back, and look, let me see if that one's better, because I can see it a little bit better. It looks, I mean, it looks like it could be a mustache, all right? It looks like he could have a very wide mustache. But when you look at the whole video, all right, we run this back to the beginning. Hold on, let me get it where I can see it better. All right. Watch as he is, watch his head, and then see if you see what I'm saying, where there is a flash of brown across his nose.
Keep in mind
Do you
that
see it?
they're
Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so my question is, again, let's go back to Bridge Guy. Why did they take stills? Why did they make, look at him. Doug said, look at the way he's walking. You see that head go over for just a second, and then it's all blurry? You can see that it is not a continuous video. So what is it? Why? Even if they wanted to crop Abby out of it, it would be continuous, right? It would be continuous. Bridge Guy walking, yeah, maybe the shadows change a little bit, but it wouldn't be chopped up like that. I mean, it tells me that you took several frames of stills from that video, but why? What did you need to do? What, understand what I'm saying? What did you need to do to make a video like this that makes it look like it's continuous, but it's obviously not continuous? It's not done well enough to be continuous. You took still pictures to make a person move. I don't understand why. Now, they say that that is a video, and you have to believe this is what law enforcement says. This is a video on Libby's phone, not just audio, it's video. The only other reason that I know that you would use stills, there's two reasons, okay? One is for editing, because it is really hard to edit, especially back in 2017. It's hard to edit a moving. It's much easier now. Much easier apps to do this. But if you're going to get if it's going to be scrutinized, like we all know it has been, it's going to be easier to edit if it is a still picture, all right? Then the other reason that you would do it is because all you had was audio, and you've got to make somebody look like they're moving. Was that taken from a trail cam? You know what I'm saying? Was it a series like trail cams do? Boom, 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 but it's not continuous, and they didn't have a continuous video. Maybe all Libby had on her phone was audio. I don't know. You see, I'm asking, and I'm asking y'all. We're thinking. Remember? That's what we do here. We think. Why is this video so jacked up? Let's look at it again. Just one more time. Play it again, Sam. It's actually easier for your eye to catch what's going on and the inconsistencies in it being fast than it is slow. I think because of maybe the change in pixelation, whatever. See where it looks like for a flash. I'm gonna play it one more time. You see where it looks like a flash, he's got a mask across his mouth.
Keep in mind that they're
all right, so here we have, we hear them saying, hey, this guy, not necessarily the guy that said down the hill. He's a guy on the bridge and a voice. We don't even know if that voice belongs to that guy. And I think Doug Carter said that too. But this was, this was early in the game. So you see what I'm saying here? All right, let me read your comments. You just think I'm nuts. Yeah, if you have never seen Eye of Apophis, please go watch that one. That one is wonderful. I will be the first one to say, though, I've watched Eye of Apophis for a long time. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't understand. I can see a lot of stuff, but I can't understand what he's saying all the time, okay? I'm just like, yeah, I can tell something's janky, but I don't really understand. So, but people who are much smarter than me, please, Here's the thing. What did I tell you last night? Listen to everybody. Listen to all theories. Look into everything. That's how you use your brain. You'll come to a conclusion. All right. You will come to one theory. And then you can set out to prove or disprove it. Whoops. All right. Let me go down here. But honestly, and I know I does a lot of stuff. He does it with the talks about embedding pictures and all this kind of stuff, which is really fascinating. I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying there. I don't understand the whys. I guess that's where I get lost. I understand what you're showing me. I don't understand the why. Why would that be done? So, go tell me what you think. Y'all probably have a better idea than I do. But I've never actually looked at this bridge guy video, and seen a flash. I've noticed how, you notice how his head does like this? You can see it is not continuous. And again, that makes no stinking sense to me when you're telling me that I need to watch somebody's mannerisms. I mean, is there mannerisms like that? Because that is what he's doing. He's jerking his head. It's like, jerking movements with his legs. It's not normal. But yet you would have had us to believe that we were looking for even maybe an older guy that's got a funky gait, We already know it's funky being on the bridge because of the spaces, but you would have us believe that somebody walks like this. That's what you're telling us. Somebody looks like this, and then you have a flash that looks like a dang mask. I'm like, well, you know what? Even if it was like a nylon mask or a, whatever, even if it was like, because when you get it in the right, on the right device where you can see it clearer, for a flash, it almost looks like it's semi-clear because you can kind of see under it. You can, but you can't really. So now if that is been altered, then we don't even know what he looks like. You're guessing at the bottom of his face. Let's see. Velvet Underground. Hello, how you doing? What if they needed to cut out something, like a dog walking with him? Possibly. Or another person. What about that? What if it wasn't Abby in that video? Maybe that's why they cut it, because there's somebody else in that video, in those pictures. Maybe they're like, okay, well, this is the guy that, this is Bridge Guy, and this other person, whether it's Abby, whether it's a dog, whether it's a, whatever, cow, whatever, you don't want that in the picture. Well, then you'd have to cut it, because you'd have to edit it, right? So that's why it's janky. But again, that's not truthful. All right? Not truthful. So the point is, if you wanted to say, if law enforcement wanted to say, hey, we can't show you this whole thing because there are other people involved, or there's a situation that we're keeping close to the vest, that's always the excuse. It's close to the vest. And I get that. They do have to keep a lot of things like that. But if that is the truth and they are trying to protect someone or just not bring someone else into it right now, why not tell us from the beginning, these are a series of photographs of the suspect? Why you got to put him together and make him look like a person he is not? I mean, how many videos did we watch of Richard Allen, and we're all sitting there, how does he walk? What is his gait like? Oh, that looks weird. Does he toddle? When all of that, if we're not looking at a real video continuous, that's a load of crap. It is. Now you got us out here believing all kind of nonsense. Makes me mad. It really does. And it's not because, we've spent time looking at it. It's because, could this person have been found, whether it's Richard Allen or somebody else? Could the perpetrator have been found a lot longer ago if you would have let us see who we're looking for? I think so. That's just my opinion. Get all tore up about that. Y'all have got a really good conversation going in here. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna have to go back. Oh, some of these things I'm not gonna say out loud, but it is quite spicy. Spicy tea. Yeah, there's probably, you know what? Digital, maybe. I'm just gonna say, makes you wonder who does know stuff. How would we know what is true and what we needed to be looking for? And I have a long list of questions that somebody needs to explain to me, and I'm not even going to get there tonight. But what I am going to say is one big question that has always made me angry is how are you going to go out there, law enforcement, when you do not have an arrest or even a real suspect, or, that we know of? Now we know that, the Odinists were thrown in the mix and some other people, but how are you going to tell me, if I'm a parent in Delphi and two girls were just unalived, How you going to tell me, oh, it's safe? Yeah, we don't have to worry. It's safe town. Nobody's in any danger. There's only one reason, two reasons. Two reasons you would say something like that. One is you're a complete ignoramus and you have no walking around sense. Or you know who the perpetrator is or what it's about. Like, you really do know what it was about. And so therefore you can confidently say your kids are not at risk because you know it was targeted, it was a certain, you know too much. That's why you're telling people it's safe. Or you're just, dumber than a bag of hammers. Because I wouldn't let my child, if I didn't know who, they have a good lead on this and they really do know kind of who it is, not the exact person, but they know the situation. And then you're telling me it was, if you say it's targeted and it has nothing to do with anybody else's kids, then I say, okay, then mine are probably safe. I don't know. That's always bothered me. There's a lot that's bothered me. A lot. Anyway, I am going to, I am going to end this. And I hate to do that because y'all really have so many good comments going on. And like I said, there's very spicy discussion in here. So if y'all are watching this on the replay, I don't understand. I cannot watch the live chat on the replay from my phone. I don't know if it's a phone app thing or what. I thought I used to be able to, but I have to go onto my laptop to read live chat after it's on the replay. I don't know. Is that a normal thing? Oh, yeah. Y'all got some good stuff. Good stuff going there. Digital says, there's an LE who basically says this community is smart enough to know who is in danger and who isn't. Yeah. Y'all know. Y'all know who's a danger to you. Obviously, the Patties, Germans, and Williams didn't, did they? Or else we wouldn't have two girls who were not with us. Do I have a VPN? I do. I do have a VPN. I'm not sure that it always works. Actually, it works on my, as far as I know, it works on my laptop okay. It's my phone that it's hit or miss. Let me try this name. Let me see if I get it right. Bonnie Koffenauer. I may have said that before. Is that right? So she's saying that Steve Mullins said that. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, y'all. Here is the big thing. We are not, and when it comes to the documents, we got a wild ride here. We just do. Y'all, we've had a good time. It's kind of been right in line for spooky season. It was a thrill, the defense's documents, it was a thrill. It was a wild ride. It was a little bit spooky. Everybody's looking into occult stuff and all that. I mean, part of it, as you know, really upset me. But it's been a wild ride. And then we've got the response, calming us down, but still making us think. At the end of the day, I cannot say, and unless you have privy to those documents, nobody can say the prosecution is correct, the defense is correct. All right? If the defense is correct about the affidavits, and because here's the thing, could the witnesses, let's just say, just take everything off the table. Let's say the witnesses are so inaccurate. Like, and witnesses are notorious for it, okay? Not saying that what Betsy Blair thinks she saw was exactly what she saw. Again, you can look at all of these studies on eyewitness testimonies and know that witnesses, they don't mean to be inaccurate. They are just notoriously inaccurate. Sarah Carbaugh's driving down the dang road. Could she be inaccurate? Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's not the question of whether Betsy's or Sarah's testimony is 100% accurate to the guy on the bridge. Only that they believe it is, okay? If they believe, I saw a guy in a tan jacket, again, that's what Sarah said, guy in a tan jacket, never said the word bloody, just said muddy jacket, walking up the road. If that is what she believes, then that is the truth of the affidavit. Betsy gives a young, poofy hair description, remember? They don't have to be correct as to the accurate description. If they believe they're correct, then for all intents and purposes for this affidavit, they are correct. The problem is if that is what they said, and the prosecution knows that Sarah Carbaugh said it was a tan jacket, muddy tan. If that is what is legally signed and part of the case files, and the prosecution said to Judge Diener, Sarah Carbaugh saw a guy in a blue jacket walking up the road at 3:57 who was muddy and bloody. If that is proved to be untrue according to the affidavits, then that is where the prosecution, you can't say anything else, but they're lying. Somebody's lying. Either the defense or the prosecution. So understand, unless we see those documents, we will not know. I can't say I believe the defense. They're entertaining. They've put up some really good theories, for sure. Prosecution is trying to say, no, not true, none of it. Who is lying, all right? Who's lying in this case? I'm sure we'll find out. It's only a matter of time. We'll find out. Unless Richard Allen doesn't make it to trial. Then guess what? We'll never know. You know what will happen? And I've said this months ago in my videos. Months ago. If Richard Allen does not go to trial, for whatever reason, and he is, or, let's say he doesn't go to trial, and or this, let's just say this, stuff against him is thrown out, or he goes to trial and he's found innocent. Doesn't matter. Any of those scenarios, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're not going to have somebody convicted of this case, innocent or guilty, and Carroll County is going to say, you know what? We tried. We got you your guy. We told you it was your guy. Turns out the jury didn't think it was your guy, but case closed. We did our job, and it goes cold. And you have to wonder, is that what some people, I'm not going to say everybody, I'm not going to say everybody's correct. Is that what some people want? You have to ask. You have to ask yourself that question. All right. Please let me know what you think. Are you defense? Are you prosecution? What do you think is happening here? There is so much to say about these, and I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you so much for all of your interaction and your great comments. I do, like I said last night, I have some screenshots and I'm going to be working all weekend, so it'll be sometime next week. I'm going to gather up the screenshots from whatever night it was, a couple of nights ago, and then, last night and this evening. I'm going to look at your comments. I'm going to screenshot some. I'm going to add to that. And we are going to we're going to do a whole video talking about what you said, okay? Because you've got good information. You've got good theories, We're going to talk about it. Unless somebody else drops another document from the sky. I mean, it's Delphi. Anything could happen. But thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody. Wow. You know what? I'm going to tell you what. I don't usually do this, but I am going to, when I hit the end, I'm going to leave this up for a while because I can see that you're talking. I'm going to let the live stream, just the music play, so you can, finish your conversations and everything. Again, thank you so much for being here. You all are amazing. You listen to me and my traumas, and you listen to me and my whatever. I hate so bad that CJ couldn't be on here with me, but you know what? He was for a little while, and I probably gave him a little bit of his own trauma listening to me. So, anyway, remember to stay safe, right? And whatever you do, just stay silky, okay? Stay silky.